With the Holosun Combat XL grip module, the CompX macro slide, the Holosun 407K and the Streamlight TLR-7 Sub, along with the X Series flat face trigger, I finally have a carry gun that I feel confident with. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. One of the things that I love to do on this channel are these build series, and we've done a number of them. The first one, I built out this Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Then we did an AR-9. This was my very first AR build. After that, we did a 300 Blackout, my home defense build. Then we did a Gucci PSA dagger. The last one was the Dream Rifle build here. And most recently, we've been doing an EDC build, building out a SIG P365 from very basic to what you see here now. And the build part of it is pretty much done in today's episode. I'm going to show you where we started, where we are now, what's different from last week, namely the trigger. I've also got a holster in finally. And I just hope that you guys enjoy these series. Let me know if you do. And let me know down in the comments what you think we should build next. Well, I changed everything about my P365. So you know I had to do the trigger too. This is the SIG X Series flat face trigger. We're going to put 100 rounds through it today and see if it makes a difference. So in this episode, compared to last week, really there's only been one significant change, but it is a significant change. But I also want to talk about some other things, such as the actual costs of changing up your EDC, because the monetary cost is a lot more than just what the parts or the new gun costs. There's a lot more that goes into it when it comes to something that you carry every day. And so we will discuss that today as well. If you already carry every day, you probably already understand some of these things. If you've changed your carry gun, you probably definitely understand some of these things. But if you're new to guns, maybe you think that, the cost of a gun, $600 or something, is what it costs. Well, it actually costs a lot more than that, because there's supporting gear that you need to be able to carry that gun every day. And there's an ammo cost as well, because you have to be able to vet your gun. 12 rounds in a flush fit magazine is a lot better than 10 as well. So to do a quick recap, let's start from the beginning. I bought a standard Sig Sauer P365 a few years ago, and the only thing that I ever changed on it was replacing the original grip module with this Holosun Combat grip module, which actually made quite a big difference. I carried it with the 10-round magazine with the pinky extension so that I could get a somewhat decent grip on it. But other than that, standard slide, standard barrel, standard recoil assembly, no light, no optic, very basic, very small gun. I carried it in a Tier 1 concealed holster appendix with an extra 10-round magazine, or strong side in a We the People IWB holster. Eventually, I decided that I didn't feel very confident with this gun, especially compared to some of my other bigger, more shootable pistols. And that is where we decided to do this build series. So what have we done? Well, I bought a P365 XL grip module, X macro comped slide with a 3.1 inch barrel that has the optics cut where you can keep your rear sight. Then I actually stole the 407K off of my M&P 2.0, which I replaced with the Holosun EPS. Much more appropriate for that gun, and this optic was appropriate for this gun, being a micro red dot concealed carry size. I got the Streamlight TLR-7 Sub, which I'm very impressed with. And then I replaced the P365 XL grip module with the Holosun Combat one, because I already fell in love with the Holosun Combat grip module on my standard P365, and the XL one is that much better. And that was where we were in last week's episode. So what has changed about it? Well, because I bought the standard original P365 and not an XL or an X series or an X macro or any of those things, it had the standard curved trigger in it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this trigger. It broke at 4 pounds and is pretty decent for a carry gun trigger. But you guys know me, I have straight triggers on most of my guns, or flat triggers. And I upgrade all my triggers, although for an EDC carry gun, especially a striker fired gun with no external safety and no trigger safety even, I didn't really want to upgrade or lighten up the actual break of the trigger. So instead of doing some crazy custom trigger job, I just ordered the X series trigger, the flat-faced one, that comes in the P365X, the XL, the X Macro, the Spectre Comp. All of their more high-end models come with this flat trigger shoe. Now, it did come with a new spring and pin for it as well. And all I had to do was pull out the fire control unit. I watched a video on YouTube that was very detailed and showed exactly how to take apart your FCU and change out the trigger shoe. And that is what I did. And I actually do like it a lot better. I just like flat face triggers. It breaks at 90 degrees, which is really nice. But it has the same characteristics as the original trigger, which I feel is safe enough for carry. You have a decent amount of take up, but it's nice and smooth. Relatively crisp break at 90 degrees. And a very solid reset. And with the new spring, it seems to break about a half a pound lighter than it originally did. 3.6 pounds instead of 4. Good to have a holster to work with as well now. And so now I have a carry gun that I could be proud of. I think it looks a lot better with the flat face trigger, the Holosun Combat Grip module, the light, the optic, everything. It's kind of a sexy carry gun now. And I just feel a lot more confident with it, a lot more well armed. It carries 12 rounds now in a flush fit magazine rather than 10, which is really nice. 2 extra rounds is definitely not a bad thing. And it just feels like more of a solid gun to me. It's just a little bit more substance to it. It doesn't feel so small. I feel like I could shoot it better and more confidently, that was the big thing I was looking for. But it's still small enough to carry concealed very comfortably. And that's one thing I want to talk about today too. So I ordered a Tier 1 concealed appendix holster for this about 3 weeks ago now. Tier 1 concealed, all of their holsters are custom built for you once you order them. And of course, you get put into a line, they're building a lot of holsters. And so they take a lot of time to get to you. And once I'd gotten it into this configuration, I wanted to carry it in this configuration. Luckily, with the modularity of the P365 FCU system, I was still able to use the original holsters that I had to carry this gun. In the meantime, I just had to remove the light, and I had to put the original slide back on it so that it would fit in the holsters that I already had. So I still had a carry gun, but of course I wanted to carry the gun that I built, right? And so what I did is I ordered another We the People IWB holster that fits the P365 XL with the TLR-7 Sub light. And I'm actually really, really happy with this holster so far. I sure do love shooting out here. I'm lucky to live in such a beautiful place. We the People holsters are a great price point. It costs about a quarter as much as a Tier 1 concealed holster costs. And there's definitely reasons for that. It's a much simpler design. But it's extremely comfortable. Nice and smooth on the side that, goes against your body. And it's very adjustable as far as the actual belt clip goes. So, when it comes, it's like straight up and down, which works well for appendix carry, but without some kind of concealment claw to tuck it back in toward you with your belt, it kind of prints out the front. And so what I like to do is adjust the cant this way, carry it at about the 330 position there, and it basically disappears. So I've been carrying this strong side in this configuration for about a week now, ever since this We the People holster showed up, and I'm extremely happy with it. I feel more well armed, even though technically it's the same serialized gun. In this configuration, I just feel more confident shooting it. I've taken it to the range a number of times now, put hundreds of rounds through it in this configuration, 100 more today with the new trigger, including self-defense rounds, federal HSTs, as well as the actual SIG 365 carry ammo, which is what I'm going to carry. So I got one 20-round box left, two 12-round magazines in the appendix rig. So, I'll have 20 of those and 4 HSTs basically in my concealed carry loadout, because this ammo is specifically designed to be the most effective out of a short barrel. And even though this is an XL size slide with the comp, it actually still only has a 3.1 inch barrel, same as my original P365 has. It's the exact same barrel. And therein lies some of those added costs I was talking about in the beginning. So when I first decided to do this build, I was like, well, I already have a P365. All I need is a grip and a slide and a light and an optic, and I already had the optic. So I was thinking it wasn't going to cost me a whole lot of money, right? Well, those costs add up very quickly. $300 for the, slide, the grip module I'm not even using, and the barrel, along with a couple magazines. Had to buy more 12-round magazines because all of the magazines that I already own for the P365 fit the standard size grip module. So I had to buy a bunch of magazines, $65 a piece. And then I've had to put a bunch of rounds through it because you have to vet it in its new configuration. Make sure all the new parts work together right, and that it's as reliable as it was before, which I'm happy to say that it is. And you have to vet that with your carry ammo as well. And so then you have to run more expensive ammo through it. And then, because none of your holsters fit it in the new configuration, you have to buy new holsters. And that's even more money. It's about $200 for one of these Tier 1 concealed holsters. Another, $65, $70 or something for this. So there's $300 in holsters almost, $250. And so when it all adds up, it actually gets relatively expensive to change up your EDC, your carry gun. So if it's something that you're interested in doing, if you're thinking the same thing I was, where I started feeling like I had maybe picked the wrong carry gun originally and decided I wanted something that I felt more confident with, well, I'm really glad I did this, but just understand it is going to be a significant monetary cost. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Please let me know down in the comments, what do you carry and do you feel confident with it? Is it comfortable? Can you conceal it well? Can you shoot it well? Because you kind of have to find that point between shootability and concealability that makes the most sense for you. And I feel like I have finally found that point for me. I'm very comfortable carrying this. In fact, with this holster, it's just as comfortable to carry as it was in its original very small configuration. But it's a gun that I feel much more confident shooting, and so it makes me feel better carrying it. And that's kind of the whole point. You don't want to carry something that you're unsure of your abilities with, and that's kind of how I felt with it in its micro compact original configuration. Now this may look on camera like a full-size gun now, but it's not. It is still significantly smaller than an actual full-size gun, as you can see there. And it's significantly thinner, which is the main thing in being able to carry it comfortably. So it really is a lot smaller, but I can get a full grip on it. With the red dot, I feel a lot more confident shooting it, and with the comp slide, the recoil is less, and with the light, I feel confident carrying it at night now, which was a big issue that I had carrying this. And yes, I know this same light could have gone on this, but it doesn't make much sense to have the short sliding barrel and then a light that sticks out farther than it for carrying, because then you're going to need a holster that's the length of the light anyway. So I feel like I finally have the ideal concealed carry gun for me. What is the ideal concealed carry gun for you? From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.